All right. Thank you for coming to Makeover Monday Live. Good to have you guys here. Good way to start the conference. Have any of you been in training today? No, this is better training anyway. So this is the way to practice. So we'll introduce ourselves in a minute, but quick show of hands. How many of you have not done Makeover Monday before? Okay, just a few. Okay, we're going to be looking out for you guys later, so just be ready. You may get volunteered. Okay, first thing, this is the website that you'll use to download the data, makeovermonday.co.uk/data. Scroll down to week 23, and you can either download the Excel file if you want to do all the joining yourself, or you can download the extract, or you can just download the workbook. The easiest thing is to just download the TWBX and then just open it in Tableau. So that'd be what I would recommend. Okay, so we'll introduce you to the project. Oh, and if you can't see in the back, you can use this link to dial into the GoToMeeting, but you don't really need it for anything. Should I? Okay, I'm going to introduce Eva, and she'll introduce me. So Eva joined me for Makeover Monday this year. Last year was Andy Cotgrave. I don't know, he's conveniently walked outside. So the big benefit this year is I get help. So last year, Andy didn't help at all. Hopefully he didn't hear me. He's coming back in. So this is Andy. So he and I did the project together last year, but he got fired. Eva decided I asked Eva to join me this year, and we'll talk a little bit about kind of how we structure the project this year. It's a bit different than last year, but Eva can take us through that. But she is Tableau evangelist at Exasol, who is one of the sponsors of the conference here today, and a social ambassador and triathlete and all-around great person. So and a vegan. So if you want advice about food, she's your person to talk to. Did I miss anything else?
Just keep going.
Okay.
Hi guys, really good to be here and to see lots of new faces. So to introduce Andy, I don't know if he would need an introduction, and that's what I say all the time. You probably have heard of him. He's been a Zen master ever since it became a thing, and is the head coach at the data school here in London. Trains all the new and bright, talented Tableau office consultants. Two of them are here, Nalini and Peter. It's been really good joining Makeover Monday. It's been really a lot of work, which I probably underestimated, but no regrets. So we're just trying to fix the audio. So it's great to be here, and I'm really looking forward to this session. And I think we should get into it.
Sorry.
What is Makeover Monday?
Save works. Okay. Okay, so if you search Twitter for the hashtag Makeover Monday, this is the kind of stuff you used to see. Lots of makeup and hair and furniture and all kinds of really, really strange things. So when Andy and I started the Makeover Monday project last year, we decided to post our stuff on Twitter every week and kind of see what happened. And we've actually kind of taken over the hashtag now. So I'm always curious to know what these people think of every Monday. They see all these like charts show up. They're like, what the hell is this, right? So anyway, it's a really interesting hashtag because you get a really good mix of content if you're into that kind of thing. Some of the plastic surgery stuff is a bit alarming, so be aware of that. So a little bit about the history of Makeover Monday. So when I started writing my blog, I think it's been 8-9 years, something like that. The very first thing I did was a makeover. It wasn't called Makeover Monday at the time. I owe the alliteration to Emily Kuhn, who came up with the idea a couple years ago, but it's something I've done almost every week for the last 8-9 years, something like that. So I find it was a great way for me to learn about data visualization best practices and really just to practice using Tableau. So this is kind of my very first makeover. You see I just took a pie chart and I made it bars. And I only know how to do bars and lines. So an occasional dot. You might see a dot occasionally. That's all I've learned in the 8 years.
Somehow you still became a Zen master.
And this is what Makeover Monday is like now. Your turn.
Oh, thanks. So these are some of the examples of makeovers that happened. We had a bunch of different data sets, and I think what working as a team did was that the data sets became a bit more varied. I tried to inject a bit of international flair, and so we've picked some New Zealand data, we've had Australian data, US data, all sorts of things, and different topics. And it's been really good to see the creativity that comes out of the community, because you give hundreds of people the same data set, and there's a lot of different visits, like no two are the same. Two people do essentially just a bar chart, it will always look and feel different. So it's been really good to see what people make of it, and every week it impresses me just how creative people are. And they can be very creative and really kind of artistic and advanced designs, or it could be really simple, which I personally really like. And it's great to see just what comes in, because the two of us, we have one or two ideas ourselves, but then everyone else surprises us.
It's always really interesting to me when we provide a very small data set. It might be 6 rows of data and 1 metric, and we still will get 100 different variations somehow. So I know that was one of our concerns when we started asking people to contribute is, will everything look the same? And we're pretty blown away and continue to be by the diversity of people's skills. So this is an example of, we did, I don't know, 3, 5, or whatever, some earlier in the year, of Trump's tweets. So it was right after he was elected president, and this was the visualization we saw about his tweets and who he tweets to most frequently. And then the design you see on the right-hand side is one that I did. So the beauty of this is we curate all the data for you, so it's really just a matter of you practicing. You have no excuses. You don't need to spend any time doing data prep. So all the data is already perfectly built for Tableau. You want to talk about this one?
Sure. One of the earlier weeks of the year, I think it was early February, Andy wanted to do a demo of some larger data, so he asked me to put this Chicago taxi data into Excel, and I misunderstood. I thought he wanted to run Makeover Monday on it, so I ran around like crazy in the office and said, we have to make this happen, we have to give public access to our database, to everyone, and somehow we did pull it off, and that was the first time we actually provided a really large data set to the community, so that was 5 million records, and that was really fun because so many people took the leap and actually went for something a lot bigger. And this is a bit I made as my makeover of the original line chart. And that was, I went for like a mobile design with the 4 panels, kind of like you see in the App Store, just to look at what's going on with Chicago taxis. And that was quite fun. Very hard work, but a lot of fun. And I just want to call out the Comcast. We just got a message that they've joined us. So they're on the GoToMeeting, they're sitting in the US all in a room, the team around Josh Teckley, and they are listening live, and we will make them present later on.
I don't remember what this one was about.
This is the March Madness.
Oh, this is March Madness, yeah. Do you guys know what March Madness is? Anybody? It's a basketball tournament in the US for universities. College basketball is what it's called, not university basketball. Doesn't roll off the tongue as well. But this was a really poor visualization. If you ever want content to make over, just go straight to Business Insider, subscribe to their feed. There's one guy that actually designs stuff really well, but other than that, stuff is ripe for makeovers. So a lot of times you have to make the data sets yourself, but that's okay. And these are the visits that Eva and I made this week. So it was really interesting because Eva didn't know anything about basketball. So she still doesn't, so she didn't really learn anything this week. But anyway, that's her design here on the left-hand side and mine on the right-hand side. So you see the things that we produce are quite different. And then this.
That's what the hashtag looks like now. So when you go to Twitter compared to the makeover or the makeovers, what you see now is a bunch of charts, like you mentioned before. So if you go to photos, that's what you'll get. If you go to people, you'll see the people who contribute the most or whose visits are very popular, who get a lot of interactions on Twitter. And we've got a website. On the website, we publish the data set every week, usually on a Sunday. And we also have a blog where we write a weekly recap, and we'll get to that in a minute. But there's, a bunch of things on there, including blogs. Okay, I can do this. Sunday, So what we do is we provide the data in an original article, or at least a visualization. So sometimes it's just a chart to make over. Sometimes it's a news article that contains a chart. And we publish it around midday UK time. And then people can start it's called Makeover Monday, but we want to provide it on a Sunday so that those who can't do it during the week for work reasons or whatever have time on Sunday when they might be bored. And they usually get really busy on Sundays, especially people like Pooja and Adam who seem to be just, I don't know, they just sit there waiting for it and then they just hammer out a new viz. Monday is definitely the busiest day where a lot of people submit their vizzes and participate. Tuesday that still continues, but it's kind of dropping off, and then it turns more from creating the vizzes and submitting their new visualizations to the Twitter conversation, so where people respond to vizzes and provide feedback or ask questions, make suggestions, or just give compliments, because there's a lot of really good work coming out of it. Now on our side, on a Thursday, we review the submissions because, well, we kind of do that individually. We swap, so Andy does the odd weeks over the even weeks, and once we review them, we write a recap blog post about the week. And what we want to do is we want to call out the stuff that worked really well, so stuff people did well as a community, but also some things where people can still learn something, and that includes us as well. So if we see glaringly obvious errors, we do want to provide some feedback on that, but also some recommendations of what people can do to fix it. And then on Friday, we published that blog post with some favorites from the week as well, so the submissions that stood up for us. And then on a Saturday, we just prepare the next week's release. And then it starts all again on Sunday, so it's a never-ending cycle.
So why should you do Makeover Monday? I think the first most important reason is just to practice Tableau. The only way to get good is to do it. If you just look at the same data every single week at work, you're probably doing the same. You might have 5 years of Tableau experience, but it's really 1 week repeated 5 years. You really only have 1 week of experience. So this is a great way to practice Tableau. It's also a great way to, let me go back here. It's also a great way to build a portfolio and to show your progress through, through when you start using Tableau till the end on Tableau Public. It's kind of the new CV now. So if somebody is asking for a Tableau job, the first place people go now is Tableau Public to see what they've built. So it's a great way for you to practice and to build up your skills. Another great reason is to learn. So in the top here, Robbie last year wanted to practice kind of like a shot frequency. So this was Steph Curry. He's a great basketball player in the NBA. We provided a data set of all of his shots, and Robbie wanted to practice building a chart like that he saw in a website. So he used it as a way to kind of mimic something that he did before. Charlie in the back, where's Charlie? We can embarrass Charlie back there now. So he does this great series called Take Apart Tuesday. I have that right, don't I? Take Apart Tuesday, where I think he picks the hardest viz that he finds on Monday, and he tries to rebuild it without looking at it. So, and then he writes and he blogs about that process along the way. It's fascinating. And he gets stuck a lot, which is really fun. I like when he gets stuck in his blog post, because then he writes about how he overcomes that. So anyway, great way to do a lot of practicing. It's also very inspiring. So you might see a viz by somebody else, and then you try to rebuild it, or you use it as inspiration for something at work, or something in the future. But we're also learning a lot about, as you're using Tableau, you can't help but learn things when you're using it. I don't think a day goes by that I use Tableau and I don't learn something. So that's what I get a lot of value out of that, through the learning process. We talked about this one. You want to say anything more about that?
We did. Andy said, you publish a lot of your work through Makeover Monday because you have a different viz every week, even just by participating in Makeover Monday, not doing anything on top of that. And what we would recommend is to not delete the old stuff. So most of us have the first 5 business or something on Tableau Public that just make us cringe, and that they are really bad, but it shows your progress if you keep them, and they're really far at the bottom. So the more you publish, no one will ever look at it. No one will scroll that far down. If they do, because they really care, that also shows them how you've progressed, and no one expects you to be a superstar right at the beginning. So don't ever delete anything off your portfolio. Just keep on building so that your new work, showing your skills and how you've advanced, is always on top. And yeah, I'd say really use that opportunity, because we had a bunch of people tell us that Makeover Monday was really instrumental in building their portfolio, which helped them get a new job. Oh, I love that gift.
It's just social ambassador.
Always makes me really awkward. So connecting with others, the point is that walking into this room just earlier today, I've known people just that I've known through Makeover Monday, and really it became obvious to me last year in Austin at the conference where I already knew a bunch of people, but going there, meeting people that I'd known through Makeover Monday and that you talk to on Twitter every week, it feels like you've made friends before you've met in person. So it makes these kind of events a lot easier. You get a chance to build your network and you talk to the same people every week. And what I've noticed and what I've called out in my blog post last week is that you recognize someone's style and what kind of stuff they like. And the conversations are becoming more and more kind of friendly. Well, they were friendly before, but it's more friends-based now, where you're like, oh yeah, I noticed you doing this, and you can see that people have recognized the progress others have made. So it's really good because you build a network of people around you who like doing the same thing. You talk every week, and it really helps when you then show up.
So what are the quote-unquote rules of Makeover Monday? There was a bit of debate about this last year. It became people complaining about nothing. But there really are no rules. We're going to have rules today. But in general with Makeover Monday, the idea is to take the original chart, write about what you like and what you don't like, and then take the data set that's provided to you and build something different. Some people choose to supplement it with additional data if they want to think it helps add context and things like that. I don't care. For me, I stick to the data set that I was given, but it's totally up to you. If you want to spend the time curating other data sets, have at it. But we intentionally prepare the data for you to speed up that process so you can just get using Tableau. But the idea is to spend about an hour. It's especially because you already have the data provided for you. An hour really is plenty of time to build something better. The whole reason around the hour is to try to keep it simple. It keeps you from getting stuck in a rabbit hole or trying to do something overly complex. So the idea is to build something quickly that communicates well, and that's it. Okay, so what's going to happen today? So is there anybody that did not bring a computer? Okay. I know there's more people without computers that are just not raising their hands. We only had one person that was good enough to raise their hand.
My computer just crashed.
Just crashed, excellent. So you really have no computer now either. So if you didn't bring a computer, just team up with somebody else and encourage them and help them along the way. Feel free to team up with Neal or Peter. I'll volunteer them as somebody to partner with. So just walk around and find somebody. Eve and I are going to walk around and help people. If you have questions, raise your hand and we'll come over and help. And I might do some video along the way. I'm going to try it. I might fail, but that's okay. And ask us questions. And then at the end, you don't have to do it in this session, but maybe later today or tomorrow, share your results on Twitter with the hashtag MakeoverMonday, and you can tag Eva and I in that. And at the end, we're going to ask some people to present. So if you show something that we think is particularly interesting, we might call you up. We'll probably actually have you join the GoToMeeting since I'm recording it. It'll make it easier to swap the connections as well, because I can just leave my connected to the screen. And maybe you could just I don't know. Anyway, we'll figure that out. So don't worry about if you don't finish in an hour. That's not the point. The point is to just practice and try to do something. The data set this week is pretty straightforward. So this is the visualization. It's probably really hard to see on the screen, but it's from 538. Have you guys heard of 538, the political website run by Nate Silver, who was a speaker here a couple of years ago, actually last year, the year before, something like that. 2 years ago, I think. So this is actually a pretty good visualization. It actually just shows the ranking of national parks by the number of visitors over the years. It's over 100 years worth of data in here. So the data set itself has the park name, the primary state that it's in. There's some parks that are in multiple states, but I just listed the primary state. The number of recreational visitors, and then there's also a field in there called non-recreation visitors. That's like park rangers and stuff that are visiting. So you could probably ignore that one. The data they used for this chart is just recreational visitors. So that's people going there to visit the parks, for obviously recreation. If you've never been to the U.S. national parks, they're pretty amazing. So the data set is very, very simple. Don't worry about writing up what works and what doesn't work about the original chart. Just try to build something in an hour. Well, we're running out of time. we can do that later. So to get the data, go to makeovermonday.co.uk/data. And when you scroll down on that screen, let me just flip over to that. Oh, do I have it open? So you go to data, and then you scroll down to week 23. And I would just encourage you to, you want to hold that for a second, to just click on this TWBX link, and that'll take you to Tableau Public, and then click the download button, and that way you don't have to worry about connecting to anything. That'll be the easiest way to do it. You must be on Tableau 10.2. If you're not on, if you're on an older version, you'll need to download the Excel file. Okay, so let me switch back over here. Can I take off? I don't know.
Okay. Well,
oh, no, it's not time to present yet.
No, it's time to get the data and for you guys to get started. Do you have questions before we pick up? Yes?
Does it matter if you're on 10.3?
No.
Does it matter if you're on 10.3? No, you're fine. I like that, very forward thinking. So we'll set a timer. We should set a 60-minute timer. So like we said, it doesn't have to be complex or anything. Keep it simple. You've got 60 minutes. Bar charts are fine. All right, time's up.
Laptops down.
Tools down. Curtis has volunteered to go first.
Okay, so we have a volunteer on the interwebs. So on the, where's mine? Let me get out this. All right, so it looks like we have Curtis is going to present. So Curtis Harris, and make him presenter. So Curtis, you are the presenter. And if you share your screen, oh, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay, everyone see me fine?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to switch the audio to the TV. Okay, can you try it now, Curtis?
Is that better?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Great. All right, well, thanks for having me. There we go.
Okay. So you want to introduce yourself, Curtis?
Yeah, ready to go. I'm Curtis Harris. If you know me, it's probably because of last year's Iron Viz competition at Tableau Conference 2016 in Austin. I'm the winner of that, and this is somehow seemingly more pressure than that was. It took the full hour. I was done with 13 seconds left on the clock, so no 20-minute time limit here. But did put a lot of little details in here, and I want to kind of go over what I did. So what I wanted to look at for this data set was just overall growth. I wanted to see which parts were growing faster than the others, so I focused on that subset of the story. So what you're seeing here is the top 15 national parks in the United States based on a measure I created of growth. So we took the first 10 years, 1977 through 1986, and I averaged them by park, so I established that baseline there. And then for every year, I just did a % change based on that 10-year baseline of recreational visits for that year. So this is what came out from that. And I stole some calculations from someone else's Tableau public work to create this trellis chart. So this is all one sheet you're looking at, and there's some math behind it doing the work for me, and I don't know how to do it, so don't ask. But stealing from public is a great way to learn. I've figured that out over the years. Anyway, so this is what came out, and it turns out an interesting story that I found right off the bat is this little annotation about parks in Utah, and that's where I'm from, so this was kind of a cool thing to find. 4 out of the top 15 parks, based on the measure I created, are in Utah, including Canyonlands, Arches, Bryce Canyon, and Zion. They all have this jump here starting around 2013. I don't really know why that is, but when I was thinking about the parks, they all kind of have these grand arches with holes right through the center, and there's this kind of craze going around the United States with people jumping off of them with a GoPro camera on their heads and flying through the arches. So I'm wondering if that might be some of the reason why each of these Utah parks have this rapid growth around 2013. Another interesting thing I found, this Channel Islands National Park has this huge jump here. It's the most noticeable one I found, and turns out in between 94 and 95, some scientists discovered what's called a pygmy mammoth. Don't know what that is, but apparently that sparked some huge interest in that park. Another thing here, I saw Joshua Tree National Park, and I remember listening to that as a kid with my parents. U2 releasing their Joshua Tree album. I remember singing that in the car and telling my mom I sounded exactly like Bono, and I'm sure I didn't. But that's when that album was released, and we can see kind of growth from there. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it was interesting to me. And then dry Tortugas here, I did find that the federal government was shut down between 94 and 95, and that's about the most interesting thing I could find here. I'm wondering if this has to do with people thinking they might not be able to visit that park in later years, so that could have spurred growth here.
And because
I'm going to wrap up here really quick. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when did you get to this point in the last hour? Like, when did you find the story that you actually wanted to go with? Was it quite early on and then you just focused on building the biz, or was there much time spent on finding what story you found?
No, not much time spent at all. Kind of just, I look at the data and I usually get stuck on one story in my head and I hope it works out. So this one did, thankfully. I spent more time, building these area charts with the lines on top of them and the labeling, getting that all right. So I actually did spend more time than I needed actually moving these labels around. And that's a kind of a trick that a lot of people might not know of. You can take the labels that Tableau generates and move them wherever you want. So a lot of this was manual formatting to get those labels to be exactly where I wanted them. And I did spend some time on the web trying to figure out 538's brand. So I tried to mimic their colors and their graph types as much as I could. And that was probably where I spent the most of the time is formatting. And that seems to be a weekly trend for me.
There was also, Obama he made some policies around national parks in 2013. They did a lot more advertising and stuff to try to get people outside. It was actually Michelle Obama, I think, that led that effort. So that's why you're seeing all those spikes in 2013.
There we go. I didn't know that. That's good. Interesting.
Learn something new every day.
But that's my presentation. Spent a little time on the tooltips, make sure they're readable, and then with the title, I tried to make it more of a news story feel, and then the title gives you the context of what you're looking at. So the green relates back to the green, and you're already there. You don't need any further explanation once you get to the visualizations themselves. So
awesome.
That's what I did.
Thank you. Good job.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So you can hear us. And we've got another presenter from Philadelphia. She's on the Comcast team, and every time I do an event with her, I make her present. There's other people that I always make present at events as well. But, Pooja, hopefully you're there. I gave Josh control.
Hey, Andy. Pooja actually just stepped away real quick. She had to give us like a 4-minute status on something.
Convenient excuse.
Yeah, I know. She said she'd be right back. It is true.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll switch to something else then.
All right.
Does anybody else who wants to present?
Neal?
We had somebody in the back.
Neal, can
Neal, did you join the GoTo meeting? Yeah? Okay, oh, I see you. I'm here, okay. So I'm gonna make Neal the presenter. So Neal is a very active participant in Makeover Monday, one of the 52 club last year, right?
That's right. Not very good, but very active.
Just go to share my screen. Just do call. Okay, it doesn't give you audio on your computer.
seeing on the screen.
Okay, hi everyone. Oops, microphone below. Hi everyone. I did volunteer to present. My name is Neal, Neal Richards. You've probably seen a lot of my stuff. When I volunteered to present, I didn't know I was following last year's Iron Viz winner. So this is going to look a little bit simpler in comparison. But I have two aims really. One, do something in an hour, which I very rarely do. Usually I play on Sunday and I change my mind and I mess about and I sometimes finish it on Monday or during the week. I'm not actually very good at restricting myself to a short amount of time. The other thing I wanted to do with that in mind is just keep it simple. Have some big ass numbers in there, as they say. So really I've just come up with this with the idea to show quite how much the overall total number of visitors has changed since national parks were created in 1906 all the way up to 2016. Obviously, you can see that in the bar chart there. And the main thing I just wanted to be able to do for each user is to scroll through the years like that. So not only can you see the highlight down here, but you can also see not only the number of visitors that particular year, but you can see the top 10 as well. So maybe if you're scrolling down through the years, you can see things moving up and down the top 10. And that's more or less it. Try to keep it simple, keep the numbers big, clean, visible, and make it green. That's pretty much it. Okay, thanks everyone.
Any other volunteers? Come on, don't be shy. David, are you done? One more minute? Do you want to
I'll be quick.
All right.
I'm not on GoToMeeting yet.
Okay,
so
just come on up. This might be a bit trickier.
I can be, I just don't know what the link is.
Oh, it's just you want to help me with the link? Yes. And then I can get somebody else while you're doing that. Somebody else want to present? Is anybody else on the stream that wants to present? Oh, we've got some background music from somebody's phone. No volunteers? Nick? You're in? You're not in. Okay. So what I could do is I could demo mine while you guys are dialing in. You want me to do that? Okay? Say again? Oh, it's yep. Hang on one second.
Till.bi/online.
It is this right here. So just join that. We'll give everybody a second. Hands up if you want to present. Yeah? No? Not a big enough audience for you? There you go. Are you in? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So does anybody know any good jokes we could tell in the meantime, or?
Show yours.
Okay. Let me show mine.
Yeah.
So I actually built two this week because I was feeling ambitious. So when I write a blog post on these, I tend to write about, I put a picture of the original and then I write about what I think works and what could be improved. So this is my viz here. Is it big enough for you to see in the back? It's similar to Curtis's, but the colors that I chose here were only because I was looking at a viz last week that had these colors and I thought it looked nice. So in hindsight, I probably should have used shades of green because it's more like a park type of color. But in this case, I'm just showing the top 25 national parks. Oh, that's because I didn't share it. That would be a good reason why. Okay, so they should be able to see it now. Okay, so they should be able to see it now. So I wanted to just focus on the top 25 parks that had the most visitors in the last 40 years, or 50 years. 50? Right, 50. Yeah, last 50 years. And then the shading that I used underneath is just based on the other viz that I saw, so I was just mimicking the colors that I saw in there. I liked their design, so I was just using that as an example to kind of practice. And one of the things that was really tricky about this was actually, it might be a bit tough to see here, but like putting these little numbers up here is actually quite challenging. So if you want a little challenge for yourself, figure out how I did this. And then once I added state level data in for everybody, I decided to look at just aggregating the data up to the state level over the last, actually over the entire time frame. I wanted to kind of look at the Pareto principle, kind of the 80-20 rule. And this doesn't quite fit that, but still looks kind of neat. But basically 16 states account for 80% of visitors in the US. Not really surprising, they're big states. So it doesn't really tell me anything, but I think the design looks okay. And we can look at Eva's as well. Did your blog post block that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hopefully they can still see. Let's see. Yep. Okay. This one?
Yep. So what I did was, this time I didn't try and think of a visual direction first that I didn't want to create, but I'd rather just went through the data. I did go to Pinterest for some color inspiration, so if you just put in US national parks, there's a whole lot of infographics that come up in really nice colors. I started with like a brown and green, but they looked really ugly, so I settled on those colors instead, so a blue, a yellow, and a brown. And I looked at, instead of just looking at the visitation numbers, I looked at the growth of the parks over time. And what I found was that the national parks, as well as national historic sites and national monuments, were the ones that grew kind of the most, and they are the ones at the top. Everything else, you can't see it so well on this screen, but everything else is kind of light grey to still keep the other park types in there, but to pull out those national parks, or the three top ones. And then at the bottom, I actually look at the visitor numbers. And I did find that at the end, so most recent years, it was a bit of a dip in 2013. Some of you probably saw that as well. But then stronger than ever, the growth coming afterwards. And yeah, that was really simple. I decided, because we're not visiting live with you guys, because we want to walk around and talk to people, I still wanted to stick to the 60-minute limit, because otherwise it's unfair. That's what my husband told me, that you should be doing it in 60 minutes as well. So I did, and that's my viz. And we've got Andrew, who's dialed in to go to, who can present as well, Andy Manning.
Andy? Is it Pooja talking?
Pooja, you gotta wait your turn now.
Okay. So similar to many of you, I started off by obviously looking at overall visitor numbers. You see a huge rise, but that's in the park as well. So we went, well, okay, what's the average for each park? Looking at different types as well, there's an awful lot, so we started looking at grouping them up, and I saw there was a few factors in there. What I then started to see grouped them all together was, at several points you see these kind of dips. So the whole number of visitors reached rising in different times. Yeah, obviously, sort of dip in the World War II years, which 42 to 45, and again, similar dip in the early 70s, which obviously then started thinking the Vietnam War. The other area where the growth wasn't growing so much were 2000 to about 2013, and again, not knowing the rise in recent years were possibly due to the Michelle Obama kind of stuff. I was looking at it and going, well, again, there was a lot of US troops deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. So, yes, just kind of highlighting those kind of dips in growth and tying it to the US deployments overseas. Yeah.
You can't see it on the screen here, but hopefully you'll publish this and tweet it out. But he's got nice little shooting bands here, so you can keep everything aligned with the waters and when they fit in. So that's really good. So who is next? Oh, hang on, Dan. Let me go to Pooja because I think she has to jump off. Is she on here? Josh, unmute. Make presenter. Okay, so Josh, you are a presenter again. Okay, there we go.
You see multiple screens or only one screen?
We can see two screens.
Oh, which one?
We see one that looks like it's mobile and one that looks like it's not mobile.
Okay.
Okay, great. I was gonna say, I've got 3 monitors, so.
So you still see the same screen though. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Pooja Gandhi. I work at Comcast here, and I have my
Pooja, can you get right up in the mic?
Watching all the presentations.
Pooja?
Sorry?
Can you get right up in the microphone? It's a bit hard to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
That's better. Marginally, but we're cutting some slack. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so hi everyone. Again, my name is Pooja, Pooja Gandhi. I work at Comcast, and I'm currently in Philadelphia. Extremely jealous of everybody who's there live today with Andy and Eva. I hope you're having a great time. So for today's Makeover Monday, I did it in 1 hour. Andy, are you proud?
Finally.
Okay, so for the top chart here, I used an area chart with a dual axis line chart, just showing the total recreation visitors by year. And then I have the total visits for all the parks, like cumulative number, right at the bottom. For the middle section, I used the area chart again, but showing individual park trend and summary. So every filter change will show a new graph with the total here, and obviously I forgot to turn off the tooltips because 1 hour wasn't enough. And it shows total visits, average annual visits, and the year for minimum and maximum year, because for each park they are different numbers. And then for the bottom part, I just used the top 10 parks and then showed the trend of each, and then the numbers here show the average recreation numbers. So that's it, pretty simple and quick in 1 hour exactly.
Good job, Pooja. That's great. Round of applause for Pooja. Hey Josh, could you talk? So there's a bunch of people that are new to Makeover Monday here. Can you talk real briefly about what you guys do at Comcast to kind of keep it going?
Sorry, it's breaking up a little bit.
So.
Oh, how do we use it?
Yeah. Well, do you
I mean,
organize things weekly, or what do you do?
I mean, for the most part, try to give everybody an opportunity to do it. I think it's tricky, and then we know that Pooja always finishes on Sunday, so that means we really kind of need to jump in early if we want to get a good shake at it. But whenever possible, I give people the opportunity Monday morning or so to work on it. When we've had new people join the team, they've told us that participating in Makeover Monday is probably the most impactful thing that they can do to get up to speed with using Tableau every day. So I mean, I think that's been really powerful. It's tricky once you get a lot going on to be able to keep up with it Monday morning, but it's a lot of fun and certainly feels like it's the best way to practice and promote our skills. And we all love to talk about it. So even if we're not participating actively that week, it's probably the main thing we like to talk about Monday morning.
Great, thank you. Do we have, and Dan, you wanted to present? Thanks, Josh. So Dan, where are you here? Dan H. Not H. Just H.
One quick announcement while we're waiting for them to plug in. Afterwards, we'd like to take a group photo with you guys, probably in front of the gallery. And when we leave, they ask us to please be quiet because there's still exams in progress until 5. Thanks.
Got it? Okay. So originally, I wanted to do something that was a little bit interactive. So we've got the year across the top. You can select a year. So you can select one year at a time. At the beginning, there were only 6 states that had a national park in it. In each state, I'm not bothered with the state because most people know the states of America quite a few of the states, people know California. So what I've done is highlighted the most popular national park in each state. So if you scroll across to the right and go to the more recent time, 2016, then the full map loads. Now some of the states you can't see, but I think it's Rob who gave some nice advice on tooltips, Rob Bradford, about separating things with underscores and things like that. So in Nebraska in 2016, the most popular part was Agate Fossil Beds, which you'll know and love, I'm sure. Yeah. Ever been there? 15,000 people went there.
I'm zero of those.
If you highlight any one of the states, the square state of Colorado, for example, you've got 238,000 visitors, and then the chart below just as an action creates a new profile. That's all the parts of the state. I tried something which highlighted that specific part as a color code, but I failed and lost time. The other one is, this one is quite a detailed analysis of all of the national parks in Delaware, and that's it. There are none. Yeah.
Is there anybody else that's dying to present? Was there one more? You weren't dying to present.
Pablo.
Okay, Pablo. All right, best one.
Are you diving? Oh, public.
Is it on Tableau Public? Okay. Oops. Oh, I need to steal the screen back.
Okay, my name is Pablo, for those who don't know me. I've been doing Makeover Monday for over a year now, I think. Some weeks yes, some weeks no, depending on how busy we are. But I'm really into design. I like always to add extra bits and pieces to design.
Just waiting for.
Yes. Usually it doesn't take me an hour, I usually take more than an hour.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, the orgasm one. He's got a good viz about orgasms. This one, right? Sorry, the internet's a bit slow. Just trying to go. It's very white.
Basically, what I did is two things. One, wanted to show the last 100 years how many visitors have been around the parks, and that's the first chart. And all I've done is to use a background image, and then I floated the first chart showing how many visitors there were in the last 100 years. And then I copy Andy's idea of a Pareto chart, trying to show the 80% of the visits accountable.
Our numbers are different.
Yes.
I only counted 16.
I think it's because I used 100 years.
Ah, okay.
I think that's the reason.
Okay. Check your math later.
Yes, you can download it. Yeah. So basically, that's mainly what I wanted to do.
That's beautiful. Yeah, really nice.
Anyone else?
Okay, well, thank you all for being here today. Hopefully you had fun, and we'll see you on Twitter, posting these every week. Yes. And thank you to everybody that joined online. Appreciate you guys dialing in and participating with us. So we will get a group photo here, and then that's it. All right, thank you very much.